Hello, good evening, and welcome to WDW Opinion Live. My name is Conor Brown, and I'm a lifelong Disney fan who has been traveling to the parks for the last 20 years, and I'm also a former cast member who knows what it takes to make the magic. My passion is simple. It's to help you plan for and daydream about your next perfect Walt Disney World vacation. As the founder of WDW Opinion, I bring you my blog, podcasts, and these Facebook live streams so that I can share my passion and my knowledge of Disney World with you so you can have the best vacation possible. Thank you so very much for joining me today live. If you are live, say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're coming from, and thank you so much for joining us today. If you're watching this on the replay, be sure to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Facebook Live so that you can engage, comment, and share with us in real time. And if you are here right now, as we're going through these news stories that I'll be sharing, what I ask for you to do is to comment on them. Share your thoughts and opinions. And if you see another commenter sharing your thoughts that you agree with, like their comment, agree with them. That helps build this community, and this is all what it's about, building this WDW community, WDW Opinion community right here on Facebook Live. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope wherever you're coming from is in warmer weather. I'm coming from Maryland. We just got about close to 10 inches of snow, something crazy like that. It is very, very cold. There's more snow on the way, but that's the perfect reason, the perfect excuse to talk about Disney, to talk about warmer weather. Am I right? Alrighty, let's get into the first news story, which is coming from the animal kingdom. A new giraffe was born over there just yesterday on Monday. So, at the Animal Kingdom theme park around 2 o'clock, a Maasai giraffe was born. And the crazy part about this is it actually took place on the savannah. So there were people on the attraction, on Kilimanjaro safaris, and they were able to see the birth of this giraffe, the very, very, very beginning of it, before cast members closed that attraction just for the security and safety of those animals. I think that's very cool, very, interesting experience you probably weren't going to consider when you got on that ride happening. But the mother named Mara, which, yes, Mara is also the name of the quick service dining location in the Animal Kingdom Lodge. Listen, there are only so many usable Swahili words. If you have to, double use them, one to name a giraffe, one to name a quick service restaurant, you just got to go with it. All right, just go with it. So Mara had a cub, and reports are saying that Mom and the calf are getting along great. The baby was 6 feet tall when it was born. That's insane. And this is actually the second giraffe to be born in Animal Kingdom in the past 3 months, which is incredible. The first one in October is named Amara, A-M-I-R-A, and that is Swahili for princess. She was born in October, and there are believed to be roughly 32,000 Maasai giraffes left in the wild. Their population continues to decline because of poaching and habitat loss. So these two births, the October one and the one yesterday, are definitely very important for the species as a whole. What's cool about this is it shows that Animal Kingdom is so much more than a theme park. When Animal Kingdom first opened, its tagline was "Nata Zoo," like all one word to kind of get that African vibe. But the fact of the matter was they were trying to appeal to people who would think, well, it's just a zoo. I can go to any zoo in any city, no matter what. They were trying to say, no, listen, this is more than a zoo. Here, you're able to see just that. It's a theme park, but it's more than a theme park. It's a natural habitat. You can go on a ride, and you might even see a live birth going on. And now, it might sound a little weird, but I think it just, goes to explain the importance of Animal Kingdom and how much of a greater experience it is than your average run-of-the-mill theme park or zoo. For those lucky enough to see the beginning of the birth, I'm sure they were quite shocked. And I gotta be honest, it's a little interesting that this giraffe was out there this late in pregnancy. I would assume that it would have just been back kind of in the backstage area there, rather than being on stage, on the safari, near guests and things like that this late in their pregnancy. But I guess it's probably kind of hard to tell with a creature that size, don't you think? So this begs the question, what's the best Kilimanjaro safari experience you've ever had? What's the best animal interaction on the safari you've ever had? For me, it's simple. This happened a couple years ago. Right as you make the turn to see the elephants, there was a big, full, male elephant or female elephant, I guess I can't really tell, that was climbing over a log. Now, this might seem, whatever, but this log was gigantic. It was very tall, but it was only about 20 feet wide. This elephant takes a couple steps over the log, and all of a sudden, it gets stuck. It can't move. It's, whirling all around, trying to get over the log. It was absolutely hilarious. It finally got over. Everyone cheered and clapped. Our safari driver even said, well, I had never seen that before. But the interesting part was because the log was only 20 feet long, it had plenty of space to walk around on either side. Who knows what was going through that elephant's head, but it's just one of those cool experiences you get to see when you go on the safaris, and you never know what's going to happen. Unlike if you're on Pirates, if you're on Jungle Cruise, you know what's going to happen. Those animals have been doing the same thing for quite a while since they're not real. But on the safaris, it's cool because you never know what you're going to see and what you're going to expect. This also got me thinking because a couple years ago, they started this thing at Kilimanjaro safaris, the nighttime safaris. Once Animal Kingdom was going into its nighttime mode with Rivers of Light, with Tree of Life Awakens, and with Pandora at night, they said, we got to keep Kilimanjaro safaris open somehow, right? This is a big attraction. People are going to want to go on at night. Well, the problem they're facing is these animals have been there for so long that they're accustomed to, once the sun goes down, you go off backstage to the barns, it's feeding time. So there's a lot of things going on where guests are upset because they're not seeing a whole lot of animals. They've tried to acclimate nocturnal animals to that area. It's kind of so-so, but this is just one of the things where it's interesting to see this particular animal out there on the savannah this late in its pregnancy. But heck, it's pretty cool to see that last calf born in October, its name was actually voted on by the Disney Parks blogs readers. You got to go on, vote for your favorite name, and they picked that one, which is the Swahili word for princess, which was, what was it again? It was Amira. So who knows, maybe this calf will be able to have their name chosen via the same method, voting on it through the Disney Parks blog. So what was your favorite Kilimanjaro safaris experience? Let me know in the comments if you have a cool story to tell. It is also too early to know the gender of this particular giraffe, but it's another animal to keep your eyes open for the next time you're on Kilimanjaro safaris. Very cool. Let's go ahead and move on to our second news story of the night, and that's the Passholder offerings coming to Epcot International Festival of the Arts. So last week we shared the details of the passport for the festival and the offerings as a whole at the Festival of Arts, like the food, the entertainment, the seminars and things that you could experience. Festival of the Arts is awesome. It's the newer of the Epcot festivals. It's one you don't want to miss for sure. But Disney Parks Blogs has shared some features that any annual pass holders are able to partake in at this festival. I'm going to read right from the blog. Walt Disney World pass holders can delight in a bundle of special offerings during this year's Epcot International Festival of the Arts, which takes place January 18th, so this Friday, through February 25th. On your first visit to the festival, receive a complimentary pass holder magnet that will feature, drumroll please, Figment for the first time. Just stop into Mouse Gear or Port of Entry and show your valid annual pass and a valid ID, and you're able to get that magnet for you. Pass holders can also complete their Figment look by receiving a 20% pass holder discount on Festival of the Arts magic bands, which will feature the playful Purple Dragon plus a Figment Spirit jersey, t-shirt, ornament, and more. They can also pick up pass holder exclusive festival merch that will include a t-shirt and coaster set featuring Mickey Mouse himself, a pin featuring Pluto, and an exclusive Figment cookie that you can get at Taste Track. Taste Track is the little kind of pop-up shop, quick service dining location, I guess you could call it, outside of Test Track. You can get that out there from January 18th through the 26th, so you got to get in early if you want to get that cookie. Pass holders can also enjoy a 10% discount for dining packages for the Disney on Broadway concert series throughout the festival, and get a special 20% discount on dining package at Beer Garden and Coral Reef Restaurant for lunch and dinner through January 31st. The Disney on Broadway concert series returns this year with live performances 7 nights a week, featuring 6 new performers. This is probably the big ticket of the event. They bring in Broadway performers who have played roles in Disney musicals like The Lion King, like Little Mermaid, like Beauty and the Beast. So what you're able to do with this dining package is you book a reservation through Disney's website at one of the restaurants at Epcot, and you're guaranteed reserved seating for one of the shows that night. So head over to DisneyWorld.com. You'll be able to see the whole list of Epcot International Festival of the Arts performers. You can pick the one you're most excited to see, book that dining package, and you'll get guaranteed seating at that. So are you guys pass holders? Let me know in the comments below if you are. And if you are a pass holder, what would be the #1 perk you want to get when you go to the Epcot International Festival of the Arts? For me, it's simple. I got to get that Figment magnet. I love those magnets. I'm looking at my fridge right now. I got dozens of them on there. It's great because a couple years ago, Disney started giving these magnets out. They give them out at the Epcot festivals. They theme them to the things. I'm looking at one right now that has Mickey in a chef's hat for food and wine, Minnie with a flower on her hat for flower and garden. But they also give them out at special times like Christmas. They give them to you when you renew your annual pass. And these are crazy. People go bananas for these. And I really want this Figment one because I like Figment. I've always thought Figment is an interesting character. He's a character that was completely created for the parks. He started when the park opened, right around then, with Imagination. And it's interesting to see him on all these Epcot promotional materials, on all this Epcot merch, because he's an iconic character, but his attraction over there in Future World, Journey into Imagination, it's seen better days for sure. That plenty of Disney Parks fans know it used to be something absolutely incredible. Hasn't really seen a whole lot of that action as of late. Hopefully, maybe it might be getting a revamp, but Figment, for now, is here to stay, and all the promotional material and merch that Disney is putting him on makes it seem like he's going to be there for a while as well. All right, our third news story of the night is there's a new IllumiNations dining package coming to Epcot. Savor a delectable dinner on the lakefront patio at the Rose and Crown Pub while you enjoy incredible views of IllumiNations' Reflections of Earth before the show takes its final bow at the end of summer 2019. Now, just as kind of an aside here, we are hearing reports that there's a strong likelihood that performance, IllumiNations, might be extended so that its final show might be closer to the holidays, maybe even after the holidays. So stay tuned for that. We'll share more details if we hear it. You can dine under the stars and behold the nighttime spectacular at Epcot. At 8 p.m., you'll be seated outside on the patio at Rose and Crown Dining Room, overlooking the shimmering waters of World Showcase Lagoon. Located in the United Kingdom Pavilion in Epcot, the popular restaurant will serve up classic British fare. Your package includes a prix-fixe menu that will feature a selection of Rose and Crown favorites, including an appetizer, entree, and dessert. And then here's the real kicker. You'll also get unlimited soft drinks and unlimited alcoholic beverages for your entire time there. Since IllumiNations is typically at 9 o'clock, you'll probably be spending about an hour and a half there if you sit down exactly at 8 o'clock. Obviously, guests over 21 will have to show valid photo ID to get that. While you dine, you'll enjoy sweeping views of the lagoon and IllumiNations' Reflections of Earth, a spellbinding show that depicts the incredible history of our planet. Let me just say this is a perfect place to watch the fireworks show. You're seated. Very rarely do you find a comfortable seat to watch IllumiNations around World Showcase Lagoon, so this is a great way to take in that experience. As a tip, if you don't want to book this package, try and go to the right of Yorkshire County Fish and Chip Shop. There's a little walkway down there. Those are all typically open seats for people to go up, and you can kind of camp out there for a little bit. That's another great place to watch IllumiNations as well. Now, this dining package is $85 per adult ages 10 and up, and $35 per child ages 3 to 9. Tax and gratuity are included in this, and separate Epcot admission is, of course, required. Bookings can be made starting this Thursday, January 17th. Now, I know $85 can seem steep for one dinner, but you got to think about the entire scope of this. You're going to be there for about an hour and a half. You're going to get an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. Those three things can add up. You're also going to get unlimited alcohol if you do indulge in that. That can be a huge, not cost-saving benefit, but you can make it worth your while. And the big thing is guaranteed seating for that awesome show, IllumiNations. It's great because it's coming to a close, it's going to be very popular. IllumiNations is already one of the most popular nighttime shows. To get guaranteed seating is well worth it, especially if it's your favorite. If you gotta see it, maybe this is an option for you. I know so many people like to complain about, Disney offering these high ticket add-on packages, whether it's a dining package or dessert package, but it makes me want to bring up an email I got a couple weeks ago from listener Brett to the podcast, which I shared his story on the podcast this week. Brett was there on New Year's Eve day in the Magic Kingdom. He said it was absolutely insane. He was packed to the gills. It was crazy, but he said the one redeeming thing was he booked a fireworks dessert party package. What that was able to allow him to do was show up about, 10, 20 minutes before the show began at Tomorrowland Terrace, that quick service dining location. You could get desserts, he could get soft drinks. They had guaranteed seating there, plenty of room to move around, their own dedicated bathroom. What that does is it gives you the opportunity to have your seat reserved to watch the fireworks so you don't have to camp out. There was something around 5 o'clock for a 6:30 fireworks showtime. They ran 2 fireworks that night. There was an announcement that went on over the loudspeaker at Magic Kingdom that said, hey, if you're trying to get to the hub, you can't anymore. No one else is allowed in front of the castle. Think about that, an hour and a half before you can't get in front of the castle. What these packages do is it guarantees your place so that you can have the most amount of time exploring the parks, seeing the other sites, doing what you wish, and you don't have to worry about camping out for hours on end. So what do you guys think? Is this a good package? Is this something you would indulge in? And have you ever done any dessert or dining packages? Let us know what you think. So those are the news stories for this week. I wanted to move on to our blog post of the week over on WDWOpinion.com, and it's when is the perfect time to go? What time of year is the perfect time to go to Walt Disney World? By far, this is the number one question I get asked the most. I've actually gotten a couple emails about it in the previous weeks, so I thought, let's write a blog about it. There's plenty of people out there who want to know, and I'm just going to kind of summarize it in a few points. The main thing is when you think a vacation is going to occur, as in schools are out, that's almost a guarantee that it's going to be very busy at Walt Disney World. So things like summer vacation are very packed. It's also very hot there, but also things like Christmas, New Year's, like I was just talking about Brett's experience, Thanksgiving. In your mind, you have to think, man, I bet you a lot of people stay home. They want to be with their loved ones, things like that. And that's a totally normal thing to think. But in reality, the place is absolutely slammed. Those holidays, avoid at all costs. So some things like late August into September, excluding Labor Day, that's a great time to go. It's overlooked because the kids are going just back to school. A couple other things, October's great, excluding Columbus Day weekend because a lot of people go out during that time. Early November is great. There's no holidays. People are gearing up for the holidays. They're saving their vacation days for that. But then on top of that, you get to experience Disney World at Christmas time, which is very cool. Temperatures are a little on the cooler side as well. That's a great time to go. And then another thing that you can kind of add to whatever day you pick, whatever year, month you pick, is think about planning your vacations for the weekdays rather than the weekends. Orlando is becoming more and more populated with diehard Disney fans, and they're constantly going during the weekends. So those times are always going to go up, and especially other people are coming into the parks to try to utilize the weekends as a way to save those vacation days and things like that. So let's say you go from Tuesday through Friday, that's probably going to be a lot less crowded than going from a Thursday to a Monday, because you got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday there, when the first one you only had Friday. So try to keep that in mind. If you can swing it, you have those vacation days, weekdays coupled with a slow period like an early or a mid kind of September, an early October, and early November. January is also great. February is also great. Couple those with weekdays. There's some good times to go. We share a couple other tips in the blog post, so head over to WDWopinion.com to read that full post and get all of our tips. So when's your favorite time to go to Walt Disney World? Let me know in the comments below as well. And then I also wanted to share our podcast of the week. This week's episode, it's called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Episode 1, What We Know So Far. My co-host on the podcast, Hank, and I have been talking about this for quite a while. We've wondered, hey, how are we going to fit all of this stuff on Galaxy's Edge into one episode? Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, of course, is the most anticipated land coming to Disney World and Disneyland this year. It's been anticipated for quite a while now. And let me just say this, if you're sick and tired hearing about this place, I'm sorry. You're going to have to hear about it for a couple more months because it's going to be absolutely massive. And we thought, how are we going to fit everything into one episode? Hank had a great idea. He said, well, let's break it up. Let's do episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, just like the films themselves. So this first one is talking about what we know so far. Later episodes, we'll talk about maybe some updates. We'll talk about first impressions, grand opening, and then maybe we'll do an episode about our first time in this new land. So stay tuned for those. But for right now, it's what we know so far. I often get stuck on the hype of telling people about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so awesome. It's going to be so great. It's going to revolutionize the way we know what a theme park is. And then everyone's like, oh, that's cool. So what's going to be there? And then I go, oh, well, I don't really know all the details. I just know it's going to be incredible. So I've kind of taken a step back and I thought, well, what do we know right now? What can we kind of zone in on? Because we hype it up, but at the end of the day, there's got to be things for you to do there, right? So on the podcast, we talk about the two main headliner attractions that they have there: Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, and Rise of the Resistance. And Hank, my co-host, was actually able to dig up some blueprints that go into what you're going to experience on Rise of the Resistance. It's very cool. It's basically going to be a 3-in-1 ride. So there's going to be multiple attractions that you get on within that attraction. I know it sounds kind of like, it sounds very confusing. And it is. It's a little confusing because we can talk about it all day long, but until you experience it, there's not going to be really any spoilers. There are spoilers, but this is something that's going to be so big, you're going to have to see it with your own eyes to truly believe it. So we talk about that in the podcast. We talk about the ramifications it's going to have, where you talk about the crowds that are going to be there, maybe some benefits you might be able to get out of it, why it's going to be so incredible. We talk about consequences, how everything you do there, your actions will have consequences. It's very interesting podcast. We also share a couple news stories that we dive deep into, and then we also talk about listener Brett, who I talked about at the beginning of this show, about his experience on New Year's Eve day at the Magic Kingdom. That's a great episode. You're definitely going to want to tune into that. Go to wdwopinion.com/episode 25 to check it out, or you can search WDW Opinion in your podcast listening app of choice. So what's the number one thing you're looking forward to at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Also, my biggest thing I'm thinking is Rise of the Resistance. I was, really hell-bent on Millennium Falcon. That's going to be it. That's going to be it. That's going to be it. But the more and more I hear about Rise of the Resistance, the more and more I'm enticed by it. I'm very intrigued. It seems like a truly remarkable thing that's coming. You can hear more about it in the podcast. I think at the end of the day, what I'm going to like most about this new land is just getting to experience in it. Walk around, see all the details that the Imagineers have been able to come up with. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, exploring the nooks and crannies of it. I'm excited for that. For sure. Probably the top of my list. And we only have to wait a few more months, maybe 10 more months probably, closer to it, 11 more months, let's be honest. Who knows, we might be able to go out to Disneyland since that one is opening this summer, but who knows? We'll see if we have anything planned for that. All right, everyone, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. We shared some news stories. We shared some WDW Opinion content. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Come back next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Live. We're going to be doing this Tuesdays going forward. I look forward to seeing you guys there. And head over to WDWopinion.com to see all of our latest blog posts, all the podcasts, all the content we got going on over there. You can also sign up for our weekly email newsletter there so you can stay up to date with all the content we're producing. And if you sign up for that newsletter now, you'll get a free Disney trip planning checklist. That's a great utility to use, especially if you're planning a trip for later on this year. I know the beginning of the year is a good time to start planning as you look into your schedules. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again so very much for tuning into this show. If you have a comment, go ahead and keep posting it. I'll respond to it later on. Thanks so very much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. And until then, I'll see you real soon.